Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And this is a video where I'm basically going to be talking about my experience seeing the one and only Jeff Mangum live. He, of course, in recent years has kind of come out from the depths of, I guess, sort of the performing hiatus that he's put himself on to, perform the classic works of Neutral Milk Hotel. He's played in Connecticut one time previous to this, I believe in the New Haven area last time, but this most current time was in Hartford, actually at the Great Hall in Union Station. Tall Furs opened up. After that was the music tapes featuring Julian Koster fronting that band. Of course, he was also in Neutral Milk Hotel when the band was active in writing material. And then to finish things off, Jeff came on. I want to thank, of course, my buddy Mark from Manic Productions who booked the show. I've known this kid for a great deal of my life. If you live in Connecticut or in the Connecticut area and you like seeing shows, he books some good ones. And on top of that, I also want to thank all the people who I guess sort of are familiar with my show who said hi. People were saying hello to me throughout the night, asking questions and being nice and just generally being awesome. I just want to thank everybody for communicating the fact that they love the show. Also at this show was Intern Chris. A lot of you are familiar with Intern Chris, know Intern Chris, and love Intern Chris. He also has a description of the entire concert at his very own personal Tumblr, and he was much closer to the stage than me. You jerk. So you might also enjoy reading his experience of the whole thing in the link that I'm going to throw in the description box. So to start things off, Tall Furs kind of opened up this, this trio set. It was kind of a half set, sort of cut down, maybe not as entertaining or as detailed as it would have been because one half of their, duo was gone. Their performance duo was not there. Some kind of family issue, which we were being told. And as a result, the set was cut in half. However, that didn't make it any less intimate or the songs any less personal. However, there was, kind of a roar going on in the back during this set and partially, unfortunately, during the music tape set as well. Like, there was just kind of this, I guess, sort of bubbling anticipation to see Jeff, and people were maybe getting a little restless, maybe just kind of losing, their attention span with these people who were performing in front of them. I'm especially surprised that was the case in front of the music tapes, not only because they had so much instrumentation when they came out, but Julian Koster, is an essential part of what Neutral Milk Hotel was. The singing saw, the bass, the accordion. The dude is a colorful, playful personality, has a real ear for melody, and to see his set being, in a sense, kind of ignored by some people who are far in back is just a little bit of a shame. Unfortunately, I didn't really love the band's last full-length LP, which came out on Merge not too long ago. However, I was catching that a lot of the songs from that album were being played in front of me, and it just felt so much more, I guess, sort of alive, wide, and open and spacious in person. I felt like the recording on the new record was kind of claustrophobic, but to see this instrumentation in front of me, the banjos which were being strummed, as well as bowed, the singing saw, the drums, the orchestral bells that were being hit with a hammer, the horns too, while it was really noisy, it was just joyously chaotic, I would say. And Julian's personality is just amazing when he's telling stories in between tracks and singing too. I didn't really love his singing voice on the music tape's new record, but it just goes over so much better in person because he has this, I guess, sort of childlike innocence, which definitely plays out not only in the way the band's music sounds. It has this kind of old-timey, very romantic kind of feel to it melody-wise. But the things he was saying in between the songs and just the things that the songs were about, he just strikes me as this guy who's constantly filled with wonderment about the world around him, and I find that to be a beautiful thing. He was telling this insane story about this guy who sensed rhythm in everything, and this was some kind of strange sixth sense that he had since birth. There was a portion in the set where the band played along with this giant 7-foot metronome prop which swung this arm around, in this ridiculously offbeat fashion, but it was still funny to kind of see this visual up there on stage. And on top of that, there was a singing television set that Julian kind of told this cute childhood story about how it used to sing him to sleep with this one single tone, kind of humorous, but when they actually, turned the TV on, there was some kind of face and a recording of him singing, but with like some weird tremolo effect on it. It just added to the fun character of the set. Now, after the music tapes were done, they kind of just thanked us, shuffled off stage. Some guitars were brought out next to a chair that was just sat in the middle of the stage, and eventually Jeff kind of, took the stage. Once he came out, he just kind of sat down and mumbled something into the microphone. Nobody could really tell much of what he was saying, and I kind of assumed that this would happen, that he would be sort of, reserved within himself and not really, be bubbly and kind of popping out at people and be really loud and be really in your face or anything like that. But as the set kind of went on, he really kind of started to open up. I'm not exactly sure if this is something that happens at every single show or if he felt like the reception that he was getting from the crowd was particularly warm that night. But I can't imagine that what was happening there in Hartford wasn't all too alien to him. I mean, people were screaming ridiculous things like, I love you, Jeff. Jeff, you're the best. This one guy was asking him if he could finish out his set, and, which of course made him laugh. He was really quick to answer those silly questions that I'm sure he gets all the time, like, hey, where's the new stuff? What are you doing with your spare time, man? He seemed really humbled by the fact that people have just loved his music this passionately for this long. But there was just kind of this hard to define magic that was there that happens at any concert, I'm sure, when you have so many people in one area who just care about this one piece of music so deeply. Jeff started off the set with Two-Headed Boy. He shifted right into Two-Headed Boy Part 2, which, I mean, personally are two of my favorite tracks off of In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. I was singing along. I was freaked out to be there. Everybody seemed to be kind of silent, though, and I wasn't exactly sure as to why that was. Maybe everybody was stunned just to have Jeff in front of them there playing these songs, because I knew for a fact that I mean, way more people than this had to know all the words. Then he went into a bit of older stuff with Gardenhead and Leave Me Alone. He played Song Against Sex as well from the first full-length LP. And then after this, he went into the songs The King of Carrot Flowers, parts 1 and 2, and 3, of course. And before he went into these tracks, he just urged for the crowd to sing along with him. And it was just like night and day past that point, because once he gave everybody the okay, it kind of became sort of like a gospel kind of experience, almost as if, everybody was in this one area to sing hymnals. People were just like closing their eyes, throwing their heads up into the air, screaming these lyrics at the top of their lungs. There were moments like later in the set, he was playing the track Oh Comely, where he hits, that really high note that is, I believe, the highest, or maybe, the second highest on the entire LP, and when he kind of, builds up, hey! And of course, most people's voices are cracking, everybody's, screaming and laughing and, having a really great time, and Jeff is just reacting to this and feeding off of this, and, it's making his playing more passionate, he's putting more into his singing, he's singing louder, he's singing more fiercely, I guess you could say. After this, Jeff went into A Baby for Pree, which is another one of my favorite tracks from Neutral Milk Hotel, another song from the debut. And then he went right into Holland 1945, one of the more fast-paced tracks on In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. And when this song hit, I thought that everybody, once the King of Carrot Flowers played, that everybody had hit, kind of a peak level of energy. But once this song came on, it seemed like everybody was freaking. Some people were, just jumping up and down and screaming to the reaction of just the opening guitar riffs. People were screaming the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Loud, blaring, distorted instrumentation that pops in on that song once the drums and everything just kick in. Even though it wasn't there with Jeff, with just how energetic the crowd was, it almost felt like it was happening. And in a sense, it kind of was, because people were mouthing out the horn parts to the songs after this part in the set, and Ghost actually was the final song that Jeff played by himself, but everybody was just clapping and screaming, and it wasn't too long, maybe like not even a full minute, before Jeff came right back out and was walking along with Julian, which freaked out everybody even more. To kind of see this, you know, one half Neutral Milk Hotel reunion was fantastic. They played 2 tracks together. One of them was Engine, and of course the other was In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. And during these 2 tracks, Julian was on singing Saw, which he played beautifully throughout the track. He was, you know, playing a lot of weird sort of dissonant parts during some points in the song In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, adding a lot of character. And to be there and finally, you know, be able to experience that music, at least in a way, in a live setting, was surreal. But yeah, that's it. If you've caught any of these Jeff Mangum performances that have been, you know, occurring recently, if you were there at the Hartford show, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? You know, what did it mean to you? What do these songs that Jeff was playing mean to you? Hearing these songs in person, did it bring them to a new level? Did it give them new meaning, new character? That's what I want to know. And thank you for watching. Again, thanks to everybody who was at the show, who watches the show and said hello. Whenever it happens, it's always a humbling thing to know just, I guess, sort of how much what I do means to some people who watch the show. That's it. Anthony Fantano, Jeff Mangum, forever.